it's the title is maybe a little bit misleading because it's not exactly cancelled. It's just it's not going to go ahead as intended, to put it that way. For those of you who don't get what I'm talking about, WWE recently released a statement, and I'm gonna read. I have it over here on my computer, so I'm just going to read it out. In coordination with local partners and government officials, WrestleMania and all related events in Tampa Bay will not take place. However, WrestleMania will stream live on the same date that it was, the 5th of April, at said time frame, on the WWE Network and be available on pay-per-view. Only, and this is the big one, only essential personnel will be on the closed set at WWE's training facility in Orlando, Florida, to produce WrestleMania. So, yeah, what that statement essentially says was they've moved WrestleMania to what I imagine is the performance center. They said the training facility, which is weird considering that I thought that was the performance center, and they've been referring to it as the performance center on the past few weeks, but maybe they've gotten a new venue or something. I don't know. But I imagine at least it's the performance center. And this statement says that not only has WrestleMania been moved, but it specifically states that all other events will not take place. Stuff like the Hall of Fame, NXT Takeover Tampa Bay, possibly, and I think Fan Access is the only other thing that WWE does. Yeah. But the statement doesn't specify about those events, whether or not they're actually going, whether or not they have been moved or something like that. But you can imagine at least. Stuff like Fan Access, that's been cancelled flat out, because that's the main reason. That's probably been cancelled flat out if that was the other event. But stuff like the Hall of Fame and NXT TakeOver, you imagine at least they could still go ahead. Hell, I think the Hall of Fame might benefit from just being a closed circuit, like you just do a small conference or something, have a small speech from each inductee, and just move it along. You don't need to make a spectacle out of it. Not this year, at the very least. And TakeOver, if Mania can be held in the Performance Center, why can't this one? Maybe there's some problems with having two events back to back. Who knows? They haven't said anything about TakeOver, but I imagine at least they've moved TakeOver to the Performance Center as well. Possibly. We'll see. But the main thing to take away from this, while Mania being moved is one thing, it's also that it says only essential personnel. So no fans. No fans whatsoever, and I imagine that also means, unless they're planning to have some of the staff members be the crowd, there's not going to be any crowd. It's going to be an empty arena WrestleMania. And yeah, that is surreal to think about. A WrestleMania in front of an empty arena. No fans. Nobody actually. Just a completely empty arena, just like SmackDown was, just like I imagine Raw is right now, because Raw is going on as I'm filming this. And as I imagine NXT is going to be going forward, because I imagine until this situation goes away, and judging by the news, I imagine this corona pandemic is not going away for the foreseeable future. every day we just hear about more and more people getting infected, and about how things are just going straight to hell, honestly. So, I mean, I think everyone knew that WrestleMania wasn't going to go ahead as planned. But I feel like people had resigned themselves to one of two scenarios when there was actually three. Those three scenarios were: one, the entire event is just cancelled, just flat out. Like, you don't do WrestleMania at all. Like, no, you just, I guess you could just do an episode of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT where you just end all the feuds right there and just cancel the entire show, perhaps. Or just cancel Mania because you can't do Mania and just have to move along from there. The other one was that people were saying that they could postpone WrestleMania. Move WrestleMania till June or possibly August and do it then. Replace SummerSlam if you have to. That didn't happen. But they decided to go for they wanted to just do WrestleMania, and the only way they could do it without causing any sort of health risk, well, not any sort, but the most they wanted to do WrestleMania on the specific date, and in order to make sure that there wasn't going to be a health risk, they had to do an empty arena show. I can't say I'm surprised by them going this route, considering that Vince McMahon has a habit of never letting ever having a show be cancelled. Like, come hell or high water, he will get the show done. And WrestleMania is his baby, so he's not going to let it not happen. But it's going to be considerably reduced. Again, it's no fans in the Performance Center, probably no spectacle, no nothing. That's just the way it's going to be now. And that is weird to think about. It is really weird. Hell, it's been weird these past few weeks when SmackDown has had to be in an empty arena. Raw is currently in an empty arena. Like, just watching that SmackDown show, it was so weird to just watch matches take place with no fans in the audience. Like, I am used to seeing talking segments without fans. I'm used to seeing shows like that, but seeing actual matches take place, like, I've maybe seen one empty arena match in my entire life, and that being The Rock versus Mankind during the Super Bowl halftime back in the day. It's like, and that was a weird experience as well. But now every match is like that. Well, without the no disqualification stipulation. But still, it's weird to experience, to see matches take place and there's no response from the crowd. No, not even a small buzzing. It's like the crowd, some crowds can be dead, but you still hear some noise from them, even if it's like a small "oh" when you see a move or something like that. Or just from some people in the audience who are not paying attention. But here there was deafening silence. Like, there was nothing other than hearing the bumps being taken in the ring. And it's so weird. And now we're going to have to experience that for WrestleMania. And what's worse is that they haven't exactly changed anything in terms of length of the show. So we're still going to have to experience a long-ass show in an empty arena. Hell, SmackDown, people liked what they saw on SmackDown because of certain things that they did. Like, Triple H on commentary was amazing. And the John Cena Bray Wyatt segment actually was enhanced by the fact that there was no audience, because it gave it sort of an eerie feeling, which is what you need for someone like Bray Wyatt. However, stuff like, however, seeing every segment like that, all the matches like that, it was so weird to experience. And wrestling is built around crowd reaction, so seeing wrestlers, do stuff in the ring to, hype up the crowd when there's no one there. Or seeing interference in a match, and people often wonder, like, how did the referee not hear or see that? It's like, and it was enhanced by the fact that there was no noise, so the ref should obviously be able to hear it. It was so weird. And to have a whole show like this is even weirder to me. So I really don't know how you can possibly get a decent Mania out of this. I mean, sure, the matches might be good, but half of the good stuff about a match is to hear the crowd reaction. And I feel, if there's one person I feel so sorry for right now, is Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, I imagine at least, was scheduled to defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania to become WWE Champion. And he would have probably gotten the biggest pop of the night when he hits the Claymore and pins Brock Lesnar. It would have been such a moment. But now, he's going to pin Brock Lesnar, win the championship, and no one's there. He's going to just win, scream in victory, hear his music play in the background, and that's it. And because Mania isn't, and those customized, and like some people talk about a customized entrance for Drew, maybe with Broken Dreams playing, the reaction is only going to be online. Nobody's going to say anything. No one to say anything. And it's crazy. And I feel really bad for Drew McIntyre that his big moment has now kind of been tampered with the fact that no one's going to be there to see it happen. Now, some people have suggested that maybe Brock should win just so we can save up for later, but I vividly disagree with that, because when is later? Like, if you watch the news, we have no clue when this whole situation is probably going to be stimulated properly. Will it be weak? Will the virus be toned down in the summer? We don't know. Will it get better as the climate gets colder or warmer? We don't know. How long will it take for us to maybe develop some sort of immunity to the virus? We don't know. When will people be able to get back into work? We don't know. When will there be a vaccine? At best, next year. Is what the experts are telling us. It really is crazy to think about. And honestly, because of that uncertainty about how the situations are going forward, I honestly feel that people who wanted this show to be postponed, I don't think you realize that maybe that wouldn't have helped. Like, maybe it just would have been the same deal. Hell, I'm just gonna say it. I'm fully expecting SummerSlam, if they're gonna do SummerSlam, that SummerSlam is gonna end up inside the Performance Center. For all we know, Survivor Series could end up in the Performance Center. Next year's Mania could end up in the Performance Center. We don't know for certain when this will just go, when this situation will finally be taken down. I have no clue whatsoever about I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not the guy you should ask whether or not when the situation will become better. But from everything I've heard, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like things are bad. It's going to continue to get worse. Um, the spreading is going. It has been has somewhat been neutralized in some places, but it's actually increasing in others. It's like China's doing, like from the news I've heard, China's doing a little bit better, but Italy's doing a whole lot worse. Um, it's it's um it's a very interesting situation, and yeah, I really don't know what to. I don't know what else WWE could have done if they really wanted to just go ahead with WrestleMania. The uncertainty in the situation just makes it so that Mania kind of has to go through. That if they wanted to just go through with WrestleMania, this is probably the best they could do. Because how do we know that the situation will be better come June? How do we know the situation will not be worse come August or something like that? We don't know. That's all the experts are telling us. We don't know about certain things. About just how long this will take. How long it will take before it's safe to even leave your house for more than a shopping trip. Oh, and by shopping trip I mean grocery shopping. And even that. I mean, yeah, sure, some people do have jobs, but not that many anymore. Like so many people have just lost their jobs because of certain lockdowns that have been put in place. Um, I mean, I don't have the virus myself. At least I don't know for certain. I haven't been tested or anything like that. But as soon as I heard about this situation reaching my country, I put myself in quarantine purely because I wanted to make sure I wasn't hit by the damn thing. So I've been sitting in my house for days on end ever since like even before my country was put on lockdown. Down I've been sitting here, and that's been my go-to answer for anyone, for basically anyone if they want to keep things from spreading. Stay home. That's the only advice I feel is unanimously a good advice. Stay home. Unless you absolutely have to, you stay home. That's basically the only thing I can tell you. Now, I don't know what else to say really other than that. Mania is now being put in front of an empty arena. And if they were going to go ahead with Mania, I think maybe that was the best decision. It's not a good decision, really. But we're in a situation now where are there really any good decisions that anyone can make? Maybe they should have canceled it. Maybe. I think maybe that would have been the best idea. It's like just cancel Mania, but that's everyone else is canceling things, and maybe it just would have been better to just rip that band-aid off. Like with the situation, Mania's not happening. Like that's just how it works. But nope, it is happening, but it's going to be a very weird WrestleMania. And it's always going to be looked upon as a very weird WrestleMania. Like when we look down and look back at WrestleMania 36, we're going to look upon it as a WrestleMania that has the weirdest experience because of this pandemic that was going on. The first ever empty arena WrestleMania, as far as we know at the moment. For all we know, It could be one of many. Well, possibly two, if the vaccine's coming next year. I imagine at least that maybe things are going to change from that. Yeah, but for the time being, that's what we know. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. It's a fucking crazy world we live in right now. Stay safe, and above all, stay home.